Morning of day 4 now, and we've dropped into Wubin. Main reason for calling into towns every now and again is to get rid of the black waste, pick up water, pick up fuel. Good little rest area here. They have a little bitumised area at the front, but a bigger gravel area there at the back that you can see. Probably best to pull in there if you can, because what can happen here is you get people coming in both ways, people who park up for a bit longer than you're going to park up, and you could get stuck. So it was looking a bit packed out when we got in this morning, but thankfully they moved on pretty quickly. Now there's toilets, tables, seats, benches, and also water tap here. So we've got the toilets in here, nice flush toilets, fairly clean, but the water tap is actually hidden away a little bit. I didn't notice it, Belle noticed it, not me, and it's right down here on the end of this log. So if you want to refill your tanks, that's where to do it. It's right next to the sign, but strangely there's no actual sign telling you where the water tap is, so yeah, you could miss that. It's camouflaged in behind the log there, and of course you've got bins if you want to dump your rubbish, so always a handy thing to do. And we'll fill up with fuel, and then we're on our way to have a look at Buntine Rock. After that we're heading to Latham. There's another rest area there that apparently has hot showers included. We've moved on from Wubin to a little spot not far north called Buntine Rock. The campsite's up here, and you can overnight. And in a good year, this is a great spot for wildflowers, and this is looking fairly good just from the second camping area here. You can see a fair few flowers. We did come up here one year, there was not a single flower in sight. It was shocking, it was like the end of summer. But yeah, this is looking quite promising at the moment. This might look pretty, but very undesirable in native habitat to have all these weeds. When we first came here there was hardly anything in the way of weeds, and they've just taken the whole place over now. A real big shame. This used to be a good spot for native wildflowers, and now they've just been out-competed. Really a shame to see so many weeds taking over areas like this. Nothing being done to reduce their numbers. Completely blotted out the native wildflowers around here. Well, we're having a look through the orchid walk at Latham, but I think we're probably a little bit late. Really, I can't see any signs of any orchids at the moment. I think these little spirals of plastic are supposed to be markers to show you where they are, but looking around, I don't see any signs of orchids, unfortunately, and that's one of the prime types of flowers that we're looking for. There's quite a few everlastings and a few other flowers around here, quite pretty, but it's really the orchids that we're looking for. This is extremely barren looking ground. Always amazes me that anything can grow in this stuff. This is a rest area at Latham. Apparently toilets and hot showers, and fee is a donation according to what I've read on Wikicamps. Just grabbed a shady spot for the moment. We're not sure yet whether we're going to stop here or push on. Nice big area, plenty of room for people to come in and park. Sadly the orchid walk had no orchids left in it. We're just too late this time of year. But we'll just have a squiz at the dunnies and see what they're like. Ooh, very clean. Oh, lovely toilet block. Very, very clean. And yes, the tales of showers are true. 3 showers. Not a bad spot at all. So, kudos to the community at Latham for making these facilities available for travellers. I guess I should be thanking the Shire of Perenjori for providing these excellent facilities for travellers. The donation can be dropped off to the Shire at Perenjori, or they provide a BSB account number so you can send a donation to them via the internet. So really, really nice. Very, very good place. Just a little bit sad that the orchids aren't there this year. That's 3 times we visited and only once we've been here in time for the orchids, so a little bit sad about that, but never mind. The weather is actually warming up quite considerably at the moment, which is why I chose to park in the shade. It never ceases to amaze me sometimes how awesome the sporting facilities are for some of these tiny, tiny little towns. I would wonder that there's enough people here to even make use of them, but I guess there must be. Well, after stopping at Latham for lunch, we decided to press on and just see what else is around. This is a spot called Bunjil Rocks. Now, not the most brilliant place I've ever seen. I guess it would do as an overnighter if you were looking for somewhere and couldn't find anywhere else. But there's just a bit of a turnaround up here. There's a rock over the back there. And we've got another rock here. Again, I'm looking around for wildflowers and I'm not seeing much, unfortunately. Little pool of water up here on the rock still, but it won't take long for that to be gone, I think. You don't see too many of these roofed dams anymore. That's obviously done to prevent evaporation. There were quite a few around at one stage, but they've gradually all fallen into disrepair, and Caron is one of the last ones around the place that we've seen. Probably not the most picturesque dam you're ever going to see. we just kept motoring today, and we've wound up here at probably what is the most unattractive spot we've been to so far. This is Perenjori. It's the RV overnight rest stop. Not exactly beautiful, is it? Old basketball courts and tennis courts and whatever that are apparently disused now, and piles of rubbish and stuff hanging around everywhere. I guess it would have been a bit better if it was tidied up, but never mind. It's in town, we got phone signal, and we actually got a bit of shade where we're sitting. Managed to park ourselves so that we got just a little bit of sun on top of the coaster, but the 200 watt King's panel will at least help provide some power. The rest of the sporting complex here at Perenjori looks pretty good actually. It's really only the RV parking spot that looks a bit sort of meh, not the greatest, and then it's hidden away behind the tanks over here. I think we got the best spot. At least we got some trees next to us. Although the usual deal with these RV rest areas is you've got to be self-contained, there's actually a dunny available here. It's only just the other side of the water tanks from where the RV parking is. Not a bad little dunny. There's been some recent work done on the concrete on the outside, but I think it's been here for quite a while. They are open, not locked up, so you have to assume they're here for use. And they're, you know, respectable enough. One of the WCs is out of order and the other one's available, so at least that's something, I guess.
right anyway. It just went in and then there was all sort of...
Well, we've left Perenjori and the awesome looking RV stop there and we've come out to something that's a bit dull and uninteresting, I'm afraid. Obviously not telling the truth exactly. This is Camel Soak. We've come to the furthest campsite we can get into with the coaster, and I think it's probably the furthest campsite there is. We like to be on our own because it sort of guarantees peace and quiet. And somebody's built campfires. The one in the middle of the parking area here, someone's had campfires, which is sort of irritating. I wish people wouldn't build campfires. This one's not so bad, it's off to the side a bit. And other people have been building them right in the middle of the turning area at the end here. And it's not really great to have ash and crap all over the place. If they'd kept their campfire out here, where this one was, wouldn't have been so bad. But just a little thought for people who have got four-wheel drives and can fit in anywhere. There's other vehicles that come in and use these places, and having ash right next to where you've got to get out of your vehicle is a bit of a pain in the bum, because it does get everywhere. Anyway, we're setting up here for a couple of days now. It's going to be our first rest day of the trip. I figure we deserve it. We've been driving day after day, so it's about time we had a day off. And because it's warm weather coming, we had a hot day yesterday, 30 again today. And yes, I know that's not very hot, but it's hot when you're living in a vehicle. We have set ourselves up properly, or at least I'm in the process of doing that, and that means getting the generator ready, because we may actually use that to put the air conditioner on. Yeah, I know it's glamping, not camping, but never mind. We've got a continuing problem with the coaster, and that is dust. I have done a lot of work to try and seal this boot area up. It doesn't seem to matter what I do, the dust still gets in. All the lights have been sealed up. I put extra seals by the door. We've really done just about everything we can think of, but it still manages to get in there. So every now and then I've got to get the brush and sweep all that lot out. And we also have to give the poor old Weber a bit of a clean. Even though that's got a cover on it, the dust still gets inside the cover and makes a hell of a mess. Quite a lot of new people on the road these days, and a lot of them don't know the tricks of the trade. And one of the things you learn fairly early is don't come up a track if you don't know where you're going. We just had a walloping great big caravan and four-wheel drive come up here thinking the track went on when it doesn't, and he had very little room to turn around. He managed it, but not easy, and there's nowhere to go. So in order to try and alleviate the problem for others, what I've done is put a couple of big rocks in the middle of the track. So hopefully that will discourage others from making the same mistake. At least they'll stop there and come and ask us. Okay, so it's time to fire up the Weber. We're going to do a pizza tonight. I'm not going to bore you with chop, 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 chop. Okay guys, here she is. Rundown of the recipe. Tomato paste on the pizza base. Bacon. Salami. Onion. Mushroom. Cheese. Capsicum. I think that's about it. So we're going to whack that in. 20 minutes. And din din is done.